Hello and welcome to the Professional Insights Podcast, Season 6. Thank you for all for joining us. My name is Brandon Curry.
I'm Jeff Collins.
Josh Bond.
And Trevor Lindy.
And I'm
nice little-
producer rookie.
Producer Rookie, finally.
Did you produce that fine music? That's a catchy intro. I love it.
The man, the myth, the
Home
legend.
studio. Yeah, that was me in my home studio with the bass guitar and the drums. Just hitting it for you guys.
Like a la Charlie Sheen on...
Yeah.
Right? Just making the
where
jingles.
you're playing everything at once. Yeah, that was me.
Hilarious.
All me, guys, obviously.
Look at my background. I'm back from pooping in my trailer.
Look at that.
Wow.
Or not pooping in your trailer.
You're not.
Are you allowed to poop in your trailer?
Okay.
Well, that was what we established with Dean when we came over, that I
Yeah,
was
that's
allowed to poop in my trailer, but nobody else was.
Me and Curry have actually shit in your trailer. We wanted to tell you.
Like not even the kids?
You got the keys.
Outhouse.
Oh, you got the
Stolen.
keys, have you?
No, we had them.
Oh,
Done.
okay.
Gave him back.
I left a little bit on the seat too.
Oh, perfect.
Well, what if there's an arrangement where you're the honey man for the weekend? Are you then allowed to shit in the trailer?
If I'm the what?
If like, say, I agreed to be the honey man for the weekend, after the weekend, then am I permitted? Like, is that, like, you don't
Nope.
want to be hauling somebody else's shit?
Nope.
Which I get, but.
Nope. What if
So
it breaks?
It's a dangerous game,
I'm
though,
going back
fellas,
in it.
because
Why'd you even buy a toilet on? You could have saved a shit ton of money. Fuck the toilet.
No pun intended. Shit ton.
It was a pun. It
honestly,
was
though,
intended.
I understand Trevor not wanting people to do that because we went to a Bills game one time on a Dorchester limousine.
That's never good.
And that's the great way to start the story. And I had the bright idea to charge girls to go to the washroom on our bus. 1 beer to pee, 2 beers to poo. And they're like, how are you going to know which one we do? And I'm like, I'm going to know.
I've got a camera.
You don't
I've
smell
got a
like
camera in
roses,
there.
sweetheart.
I've got a camera.
Honestly, we had like 40 beers. And then the bus driver came up to us, he's like, what are you guys doing? You're going to fill the entire tank and we're going to be screwed. No one's going to be able to use the washroom. I'm like, yeah, but look at all this beer. Like, we're winning. And lo and behold, on the way home on the QEW, actually around Welland, the shit tank exploded and went all over the QEW.
Oh.
Oh.
Is there like a news clipping of this too? I'd love to read that.
I have a picture of the guy lying beside the bus, passed out because it exploded all over the QEW. Police had to come.
Oh.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
That's you, isn't it, Rookie? That was you, wasn't it? Don't lie.
No, I was the one that was apologizing to the. He's like, this is the guy that was charging the girls to go to the washroom. It's his fault. Like, no, it was your fault for sideswiping the guardrail, bud. Like, what do you
So
want
literally
from me?
and figuratively
Oh, yeah,
a bus driver, eh? Rookie, that guy?
Yeah.
Lindy, were you on the Jays trip I did where we had 26 guys drunk out of our minds and no toilet?
Yeah. Yeah,
They
I'm
gave us
pretty
a
sure
sink.
Curry
Remember
was
that
on
one.
that one, too.
They gave us a sink and a bucket on the way there. Everyone's like, I'm not pissing in a bucket. Not at all.
Nope, but
Way
people
back,
started...
everyone's so bombed. We got to a point where we would fill the bucket halfway and pass it on before we dump it down the sink because we had no choice.
disgusting. People were pissing on the front of the bus, like on the limo bus. They went next to the driver. That was what was happening.
Oh, remember, we were leaning our heads against that door that opened up, going down the QEW.
Yes.
peeing in this
For balance.
in this bucket. Piss everyone's hands. It was wicked.
That was the
I think we've done a trip since then.
No, we haven't.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
That was
Funny
me
enough,
up.
we have a
Sign me up.
toilet explosion.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're the one who
recall.
probably organized it, right? And I'm the one who did it. I'm like, oh my God.
if you
I did.
recall,
All the
that was the
wives
trip.
were waiting.
That was the trip that
Stay with first name.
stick with first name only. Mike
Yeah.
was so intoxicated from the moonshine that Chris
Oh
brought.
my God. Yes.
And we went to the bar, and another Mike was trying to buy that owns an HVAC company, trying to buy a round,
Yep.
and bought the other Mike a beer, and security followed him in because he was playing fucking ping pong or pinball in the security line.
Pinball wizard, eh?
Yeah, pinball in the security line.
Did he
and
get booted?
Dan and I.
Did he get booted?
No, because Dan and I had to play chaperone to this gentleman the rest of the night.
You never have to. We're all big boys. You get fucked up in public, you're on your own.
Let's be clear, though. He was
Good one.
going to be ejected if Dan and I didn't step in and keep him there.
So you guys are white knights, eh? I would have laughed my balls off and pushed him over.
Come on.
Well,
Bought him a shot, eh? And bought him a shot.
I remember that, though. The other Mike bought a round. It was like $300. And then he left to go grab a sausage outside because the lineup was too big, and he was kicked out in the second inning.
Yep.
And then he took a cab ride home. It was $300, and he was there for one inning.
Right.
He's like, I'm going past the Penn Center. I'm almost home. We're like, oh, my God, that was $700.
Yeah, because we could not find him.
Did that guy talk the
Guys,
most shit
trips
too
are great.
about how he's the biggest drinker and stuff? Because it's always the guy.
He didn't talk the most shit,
before
but
the trip.
he wagged his dong out a little bit when he bought a round at there. I think he bought like 5 shots and 5 beers, and it was like $350 or something stupid. But he was like, I'm the man, and then he got booted out because he tried to buy some. And I'm like, shithead, you could have went and bought scalper ticket for like $10 and came back in, because you got booted. Who cares? We were in the bar the whole night anyways.
Yeah.
But then he took a taxi cab for $380.
Yeah, because he couldn't get back in and couldn't find our limo bus.
Well, and I was the only one who had the limo number because I organized and all that, and I don't check my phone when I'm at a thing like that.
Yeah.
I
My
got one
only
mission.
my
I'm
my
getting
only
bombed.
point of reference, Collins, is you just keeping on buying shots for poor messing there at a stag.
So
Oh yeah.
I got we got some good topics today to discuss. It's just we
We're
figured
in the middle
we
of
could
it.
Not just reminiscing about old memories.
Drinking
Well, we
stories.
could. But there's a bigger story. There's a bigger story, gentlemen. Auston Matthews, 4 years, 13.25 AAV. Locked him up.
I love it. You know what? I was listening to it today, and they're like, "Why didn't he do 8 years?" I'm like, "Why do you want him at 8 years? You're getting his prime years till 31. Let's see if we even want him after that. If he hasn't,
Do you think the Leafs were like 4 years, or do you think he said 4 years?
From what I heard, Leafs were 5 years, and he was 3 years, and they settled on 4. And he took a bit of a haircut. It doesn't seem like a haircut, but you got to remember next year when he's up, like the cap's going to be quite a bit up.
Yep.
And if he was unrestricted next year, he's getting 16, 17 million from whatever team he wants. I think it was a great deal. And I don't care if we have him until 34.
16, 17's high. I figured he probably got
31 is when players in the NHL start to decline. So he might not even get that much when he's 31. And everyone's saying, why do 8 years? But he's done 9 years at about the same amount of money Connor McDavid had. And you got him until he's 31. And then you can decide if you want him at that point. I think it's perfect. I wouldn't want to sign any of these guys to 8-year deals.
So
look at the Islanders. What did they sign that guy for? Like 15? Was it
DiPietro? Yeah.
DiPietro, eh?
Yeah.
Like 15 years or something.
Stupid. But if you look, the salary cap, the NHL salary cap is, according to Forbes, is projected to make another $4 million jump from 2024 to 2025.
They think that's low end.
So basically, last year was $82.5 million. This year projected is around $83.5 million. So only $1 million more, but doesn't matter. The Leafs are fine for the next year because Marner is not up until next year.
And Tavares same time too.
Contract.
Willy-nilly's this
year.
year, though, right? Willy-nilly's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, willy-nilly's got one more year.
Does he have? But I mean, they're trying to sign him now, are they not?
Right, 2024, 2025, we're looking at literally a $4 million jump, then an additional $4 million to 92. So you're looking at $8 million, that's essentially, in today's dollars, you're getting Auston Matthews for around $5.25 million, right? Like, because
I mean, I see
you're
what you're
getting
saying.
you're getting additional $8 million dollars,
to spend.
right? To spend, because he only
they need an $8 million defenseman on that back line still, though. That's the big problem. If I had a Daigle and Nylander to get a stud right defenseman, that's what they got to do right now.
Gone.
100%.
Bye, Willie.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Because I would take Domi and Bertuzzi over Nylander any day of the week combined, and we need a right defenseman to replace him. They're going to keep Nylander for the year. Right? They'll keep Nylander for the year.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, he's not going to get it from the Leafs because, like, if you look at the stats from Willie Nylander and Auston Matthews has played fewer games, has more goals, more points, and you factor in Willie's about 70% of the goal production than Auston Matthews. But he wants, what's 10 million divided by 13.25? What do we got? But he wants 75% of what
Well, he's got
Auston
almost
Matthews.
zero defensive skills. He's an offensive whiz. And I don't want to sign him for 8 years either. They're saying you got to get him in 8 years. I'd get another 4-year contract for Nylander. That's it.
He's a contract player, Nylander.
You got to keep him hungry. Keep him hungry. 8 years, the hunger's gone as far as I'm concerned. The shorter the term, the better.
Nylander, the hunger's gone after he signs his contract until his next contract comes up. That's my
opinion. Be. You know what? You keep him on a contract year the whole year. He'll have his best year he ever has his whole career.
Absolutely.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
You sign him 8 years at 9.5, he's not going to have a good year.
No. And he was starting last year, right? He was starting to put the Jets on. But again,
he's also against like second line defensive players, not the top line players, right? Yeah. So people don't understand how that works in hockey. Matthews garners the top defensive players on each team.
Like Auston Matthews, to put it into perspective, has only played 481 games. Willie Nylander has played 521, so about 40 games more than Auston Matthews. But in that time frame, Auston Matthews has scored 299 goals to Willie Nylander's 177. So he's 120 goals more.
Oh, for sure. There's not a question. They're not comparable at all. I mean,
not even close.
Matthews has 5 40-goal seasons already at a 7-year career, right? Like,
and a 60-year, and a 60-goal
season. Well, yeah, that's
too.
One of them is a 60, yeah. And I mean, he's got a regular season MVP. Like, I mean, you're comparing a watermelon to an orange.
He was the main guy to get signed. Now the bigger problem is going to be what's Marner thinking now that he's got that. Because Marner signs next year. Does he want 14 million? Does he do 8 years? Does he do 4 years?
These guys have to be smart though, because I feel like Nylander is that kind of guy who will go and play on like a Columbus or a bottom feeding team for all of
Washington.
The money.
Yep. He'll go to play with Rasmus Sandin.
And then like you have to, if you want to win, especially in the NHL because it has the tightest salary cap, you have to take less money to win. You have to prioritize winning over making all that money. And I don't think that's in Nylander's DNA because Matthews took that haircut. When you actually break it down, you can see that he did. On the surface level, you're like, that's too much. Because even Leafs Twitter is like, that's too much. It's too expensive. He's the highest paid player AAV.
They're retarded.
You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. I was listening to Kipper and Bourne today, and Kipper's like, why did you do 70 years? Do you want him signed to 34? Look at John Tavares. He's 32. And he's about to decline, right?
Well, right now we're going to get him at a deal, Tavares, if we re-sign him, right?
But Matthews is banking on when he's 31, he's still considered a top 5 player in the league. He's a big body who gets hit a lot. I don't know if he's going to be that in 5 years. So we're getting his whole 20 age years as a Leaf.
His prime.
No matter what. His prime. Your prime's 26 to about 30 in the NHL.
Well, it depends on the player. Some people.
Well, majority of them.
Majority early, right? He hit his stride pretty early.
Yeah, but the majority of now you're starting to learn how to win and shit like that, right? But the majority of them, your prime years, he just committed to the Leafs. That's all you can ask for. And he's banking on he's a top 5 player in 5 years, which I don't know with Connor Bedard coming up, all these young studs coming up and all that.
Yeah,
he's banking he's going to do that. So if he is, we'll pay him. If he's not, we can walk.
I almost draw a comparison between the deal he signed yesterday, obviously not like the term and length, to what Patrick Mahomes signed, that massive like $500 million deal. And everybody's like, oh my God, like that's insane amount of money. And now it's a bargain.
Yeah.
Like because Leon Draisaitl next year is going to come up. He's going to probably command 17 or 18.
Absolutely.
Well, the difference in the NFL, though, he can say, I want more money anytime he wants, right? That's the difference in the NFL. NHL, you sign it.
Connor McDavid still has 2 more years on his contract at $12.5 million.
And he's going to be the next Leaf. He'll be a Leaf. And
you think so?
Tavares can go. If he doesn't win the next 2 years, he's going to want – he was talking about it today. Right, he has not committed to Edmonton. He's like, I'm going to see it out right now. Me and my wife, because they're starting their life, are both from Toronto and all that. They said, we're fine with it right now. We want to see it out. But he's a Toronto boy. He's in doing charities all the time right now in Toronto.
Where's he from? Oakville?
He was at
Markham?
He was from Richmond Hill.
Richmond Hill. Thank you.
Yeah.
He was at a beer league game. Played on the
He got
beer
beat.
league
He
final
got beat.
the other day.
Blew up Twitter.
Like what? These guys are coming from their construction paving jobs for their beer league.
Can you
final.
imagine someone taking his freaking knee out and all that? Trying to you getting all cocky and all that? Like, oh god.
That's dangerous, man. If I'm the Oilers, I'm kind of pissed he did that.
If I'm the Oilers, I have snipers in the crowd watching, and anyone skates near him, you ting him right in the leg.
As a person, I love it though. Good for him. I'm human.
Oh yeah.
Here I go.
He's a Toronto
Yeah, I'll
boy.
come have some beers with the boys and hang out for sure.
Yeah.
It's great.
But Edmonton's very similar to Toronto,
Now-
right? They're top end.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I do feel that, like, listen, if he in 2 years he'll play till the end of his contract. I mean, he very well might get traded if a deal can't be set out. But I mean, it's, I guess, not out of the realm of possibility that Tavares retires, gets a nice cushy job up at the Leafs front office.
Tavares won't retire in 2 years. He'll do a cushy deal for the next 4 years to stay at Leafs.
Three or
It'll be
four.
like
Three or
$4
four
million, something like that. And that's the beauty, because when Marner's up, so is his contract. So all the savings you get on Tavares can go to Marner. But Marner, you can't pay more than Matthews. You just can't.
No.
Yeah, you talk to Sticky there. He's going to say that you can. He argues with me all the time, John, that Marner's better than Matthews. And I mean, it's Matthews is the franchise player. Now, don't get me wrong.
Marner's
Marner's the
stats are-
creator, right?
Marner's
Marner's
stack
the
was
creator.
second assists.
Yeah.
Second assists.
Yeah.
Goals are what count.
He's the playmaker. And don't get me wrong, I love Marner's style of play, right? If Marner put on another 15, 20 pounds, he'd be
See,
a
I don't like
dangerous-
Marner's style
dangerous
play
guy.
at all.
Guys, all right,
I
just
like-
to put it into perspective, points for
Bertuzzi's.
Matthews
Well, yeah.
in 7 seasons.
Yep.
Okay, 481 games played. This is at NHL.com.
Yep.
Points are 542.
Yeah, I figured
Mitch
he was almost
Marner.
and he's got about 300
Games
goals,
played.
I think, eh?
507 games played. Points 554.
All you got to ask the
Now-
question is, who would you rather have as your cornerstones, Matthews and Marner, or Cole Caulfield
Matthews.
and Nick Suzuki?
Because
Matthews
at
and
the end of
Marner.
the day,
Matthews and Marner.
Who would you rather have? Two midgets or like a power center stud? Look at him. He's
We're
looking at
asking
naked
you,
pictures.
Trevor.
He's looking at pictures of Cole Caulfield.
I've completely zoned out. This
Did
is
they-
a Leafs
Because we're
conversation
talking about
I've got.
hockey and you no
Yeah.
longer have a team.
Like, did they
Talking about
send
the
Caulfield
Leafs
back
that
to the
I've got.
minors again, or is he back still playing in the big club?
They put him on a stretching table. They're trying to get another inch or two out of him, so he's a big boy.
here's the thing. You've got Mitch Marner, right? You don't get an assist unless the person you gave it to puts it in the net,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So you don't, right? So it is a tandem. So you are just as good as the person that you're playing with assists.
That's the thing.
It's very important, and I don't
Patrice
put down
Bergeron.
what Mitch. I don't
Yeah,
put
he's
down
gone.
what Mitch.
Woohoo!
I don't put down what Mitch Marner does or his playmaking ability.
No,
But if you don't have anyone to play with, it's futile. I mean, you just got to look at, like, listen, Carlson, what he did last
Batman
year
and
on a
Robin.
Sharks team was absolutely crazy, right? 100 points on that kind of a Sharks
101.
team.
101.
But he has not exceeded 50 points since going to San Jose.
who's that?
So-
Curry?
Eric Carlson.
Yeah.
Last
Well,
year was the first year he broke 50 points.
Yeah, he had an really bad Achilles injury, right? And
Yeah, sliced.
yeah, and I don't know. And he was really in Ottawa. I think. I think he dealt with quite a bit of shit. Him and his wife. There was a whole. There was some real bad ugliness there, right? So he's a stud D, man. Like,
He is.
He's
but
a stud D, but I still don't think he's the best D in the league. There's other Ds you need a Chris Pronger type D. He was.
well,
the
that's a different
prototypical D.
style, though. Pronger's a different
Guys,
style.
out
right?
out of 14 seasons, including Ottawa and San Jose, Carlson has only exceeded 50 points 6 times.
Yeah, but he also is a
Career. That's a
defenseman,
pretty
right?
good career.
That's a defenseman.
No.
right?
But look at what Pittsburgh gave up. Like, Montreal clearly won that trade, and San Jose walked away looking pretty pretty because they only retained 25% of the salary. Like that's pretty good. No, less than that, 10% of the salary.
What did Pittsburgh do
1.1
with
million.
Gino?
He signed for like
signed?
$8 million a year for like
Okay.
4 or 5 years.
Right, so they're trying for one more run. That's what they're doing while they've got.
Well,
Crosby
they got a
there,
very
right?
similar Leafs team, but they're way past their prime.
Correct.
But they've won before,
Yeah.
right? So they're taking another kick of the can.
Yeah,
I don't think they have a chance in hell to win another cup, Pittsburgh.
they're a strong team, man. Like, don't
They
underestimate
didn't even make the
Crosby.
playoffs last year. So putting Carlson on there, that's less defense.
Yeah.
He had a phenomenal.
You know another tragedy. How about Arizona with Shahoni tearing his UCL?
No, I never heard that.
Saw that.
Who?
Did he?
The pitcher?
How did he do that? In a game?
Just last night. Just last night. He was pitching. He didn't even get through 5 batters. And he was on like this base. They basically say they don't know if he needs to have surgery yet. But that injury alone, because in 2018 he had Tommy John surgery.
Okay.
And
which is pretty normal for a
like,
pitcher nowadays, right?
It is. And he was lighting it up. But he's done for the season. He might need surgery. And they say that because he was always going to walk at the end of the year because they didn't trade him.
That's a weird injury, though, just coming off the mound, I guess, or
I don't know. They said
that cost him $100 million.
The UCL's in his elbow, right? It's
I thought you said ACL. Sorry.
That's a horrible injury for a pitcher.
Especially when you have no
Absolutely.
contract.
Absolutely.
That's a $100 million loss.
What's going on with
100 million. They're
Manoah?
saying 200 million. They said that he was going to be a $500 million contract. He would be the largest in MLB.
This is the risk these athletes do, though, trying to wait it out to the end of your contract. And you miss, say Nylander has something bad happen this year trying to play it out.
Do you ever money. You never want to wish. No, I never want to wish really harm on anybody but a pedophile or somebody like that, right? But like, somebody like Willie, like where you hold out on a contract.
Specifying who you wish ill will on.
Well, 100%.
How about cannibals?
Like, why don't we just also name Hitler on there too?
Cannibals.
Putin.
In my opinion, a pedophile tops the list. So,
absolutely.
What about a cannibal pedophile?
Well, now you get multiples. He's still a pedophile.
It's hyphenated.
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh my God.
You're wishing no ill will on anyone. That's what you're saying.
But William Nylander, like, on his contract holdout and the fucking games he plays, right? Like,
that's his dad's DNA. His dad did the same thing when he was in the NHL.
The old man did the exact same
thing. You know what?
Thing.
The best saying out there right now, my favorite saying, fuck around, find out. I love it. Mm-hmm. And I would love, honestly, Trey Living to find a killer defenseman, ship him out. Mm-hmm. And it's more to teach him a lesson. I think he's better to stay with him. But this entitled bullshit of, whatever they want.
Yeah.
It drives
me. That's
the
millennial.
Matthews, I think, made a mistake, honestly, signing the contract he did. Because it brings him to 31. And you'd be better off going to 34. Because 31 is going to be a whole different career when he's like the way he plays. I don't think he's going to be top 5 in the league at 31. My personal opinion.
I disagree.
I'm a Leaf fan.
I disagree.
He just gets beaten in the playoffs.
He's going to start negotiating 1 year before, right?
Mm-hmm. At that point, he's going to try to get that 8-year contract at 31.
That's
listen.
Exactly.
Finish Auston career, Matthews, right? based on his skill set, okay, will be one of the top 3 players in the NHL at the age of 31. But what Collins is saying is based on the game that he plays, there's a high probability that a Shahoni injury injury can happen to this player at 30, 31. You're like, we all know, rookie, you're in your 30s now. Your body does not sustain the crap that it
give me a break. Come to your 40s and come talk to us.
Oh, I'm almost 50 and I'm still fucking slashing. 36.
It's more of the hangovers that suck more.
5 years from now, I think is such a different landscape in the NHL, and he's banking on himself being a top 5 player in the NHL at 31. I'm telling you, I don't think he will be.
Yeah.
in 5
Well,
years.
you're saying there's going to be some young growth coming in too, right? And you mentioned
We got Connor
and that-
Bedard right now coming up, who's going to be a stud.
You can't say that,
Stud.
Jeff. Right? I mean, I hope he.
I'm
I hope
saying
he,
it right now.
I
Just like
hope
I said,
so.
the
He's
Leafs
a Canadian
would win a
boy,
series
right?
last year. He will be a stud.
I
He'll
hope
be
so.
a
He's
stud, but
Canadian
here's the
kid.
thing: he's also playing on Chicago. So, like, you only can be a stud if you're surrounded by the team to make you
Well,
a stud.
You
but
remember
Matthews
Rico
was a
Fata?
stud at
You remember
18
Rico
and didn't
Fata?
matter for 3 years. So they got 3 years to give Bedard a team, and they are stacking up picks and everything right now because they have so much money to retain.
You remember Rico Fata, Jeff? Played out of the Sioux in the OHL.
Sounds like a porno name.
Pretty sure. Yeah. No, but
Italian
he,
porno name.
he was a stud junior. You don't remember Rico Fata? He
I
was a
didn't grow up
stud
with a
junior,
Sioux.
and then
Well,
he went to
remember
the-
Radek Bonk? Radek Bonk?
yeah,
Alexander Daig?
right.
Different now, though. Different now. He broke like McDavid's records,
I'm pretty sure it was Rico Fata played.
but his legs are like this on Bedard's, man. He's a clone of Crosby, more or less.
Unfortunately, when you look at it in like a macro sense across all of the sports, the question for all athletes is that do you bet on yourself or do you take the safe money and safe deal that the team offers you? And like it's with any discipline, really, like even your guy stuff that you do. Do you take the guaranteed, that might be less, or do you bet on yourself and hope that you're going to get much more down the line? And it's rare when it works out for the player who holds out. You think it NFL, Le'Veon Bell didn't work. Like it just doesn't work out for these guys.
You know what the difference? Nylander's a type of
Worst
player.
draft pick in Flames history,
Who's
and
that?
I'm pretty sure.
Rico Fata. The Italian porn star. I think Nylander's biggest thing he's betting on is that he does not have a physical nature. So he thinks he won't get hurt. But you got to look at what the Leafs did in the offseason. They added 2 major antagonists and then the heavyweight of all heavyweights in the NHL. Their games are going to be more physical this year.
Absolutely.
And so if your tough guys go after the best team's tough guy or players in the other team, those guys don't go after the tough guys on our team. They go after the skill guys.
Listen, Triveling did it properly, right? Because what was the issue? Remember when Bennett smashed what's his name behind the net there?
I can't wait till Florida
And,
travels
and
first
what
game.
did everybody do?
He's dead man.
Oh, what happened there?
That's
Okay.
every playoff series that Auston
let's
Matthews
go to
and
the
Mitch Marner
playoff
been in.
circle. Man, I would have been in there as a 170-pounder there, given an elbow or something, man.
Well, that's
That
what
guy
the
would've
mistake
ate
was.
something.
Simmons should have been in all those games against Florida when it got that rough.
Yep.
And they didn't.
Yep.
And they had nobody on that team who would stand up for him
Yep.
at all.
Now
When
they
they
do.
DDT'd Matthew Nyes on the ice right there,
Yes. That
all
was
hell
Bennett.
should have
Wasn't it
broken
Bennett?
out right there.
Wasn't it
Oh,
Bennett
yeah.
behind the
He
net?
DDT'd him on the ice. DDT'd him.
And
Took
Nyes
him out
isn't
for
a
the rest
small
of the
kid.
year, and he didn't even get 2 minutes.
No.
No, it's brutal.
And
Wait.
the next game they play, Ryan Reeves is going to go find Sam Bennett and slap him around like a little bitch.
Yep.
And they're going to say, this is a different Leaf team.
Yep.
I love what they did in the offseason.
100%.
Love it. Because that's why I hated watching the Leafs. It was
Now
like
they
an
signed their
NHL
stud.
All-Star game.
They got to sign one more stud, and then you can piece it around after that.
Come on.
What does
Trevor's
Montreal
on
have,
board.
Trev?
You know Trevor's naked right now below the waist.
Let's just do 5 minutes of Habs talk.
I think that we don't even have 5
We don't
minutes.
have 5 minutes of
We
material.
don't have
We
5
have
minutes.
to
What,
talk about
what are they
five
going to
minutes.
finish?
Trevor.
Bottom 1, bottom 2,
What are we gonna-
or bottom 3 next year?
Oh, well, hold on a sec. What's
That's
going
the
on with Carey
question.
Price? What's going on with Carey Price?
He's drinking gasoline on the reservation right now. He's retired. He's done. He's riding it out to get as much money as he can right now.
I just found our clip.
Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Trev?
He's done.
What
And
say
Gallagher
you?
will be traded mid-season because they're going to try to recoup anything for him. But they're building their team around 2
And
5'8" guys
needs,
right now.
needs some stilts. Is that what you're saying?
That's what they're going to do. They're building around 2 5'8" guys right now. See, Trevor knows. He knows. He's not
I
saying
have
boo.
no
He's like,
comment to
trust the
make.
process. Trust the
Just-
process. You're not even going to watch hockey this year.
When I
You're
turn
gonna wait
around
2
and say,
years
I told you
and
so.
watch.
All I'm saying, and it always is with the Montreal Canadiens, I don't understand why they don't just hire Patrick Waugh to be the coach.
No, absolutely.
Right there. It's right there.
I can't hear you. I got my ring plug in my ears.
Yeah.
Legend, hard ass, speaks French. Like it's right there.
I wanted the
How
Leafs
do
to
you
hire
know that
him.
they didn't try and hire him? And Waugh, given what happened in '93, said, I don't want to have anything to do with
What
you.
was
Yeah,
that
but
that
different
happened
owners,
in
though.
93? What
Different
happened in
owners.
93? I don't quite remember.
They shifted him over to the Avs there or something.
Can you tell us what they did? What'd they do? Take the best goaltender
He did it.
in the
He did it
history
to
of
himself.
hockey?
He said,
No,
"I'm
it
not
was the
playing with
coach
you
and the
ever
idiot
again."
GM at the time who did it. They gave Colorado 2 cups. He's the best goaltender to ever live.
They did what Amber Heard did to what's his name's pillow there. Laid a dookie on him.
Although, like,
We're
that
watching that
scene of
right
him
now on
walking over
Netflix.
to
That's
the
hilarious.
coach, man.
So the Patrick Waugh
Walking over to
curse,
the GM.
1993, is going to live for a long, long time.
Oh my
Trevor?
God.
Is the Montreal talk over?
Trevor's not a hockey fan
Got
anymore. He's going to wait
3
3
more
years
minutes.
before they're
3 more
relevant.
minutes.
No, I really don't need to say anything at all.
Because you won 26 cups in the past.
Mark my words.
You're amazing. You won all the cups pre-1993.
Well, 93, that's
Awesome.
30 years ago now. You can't be squawking anything.
I don't celebrate
You
the
got
Blue
30
Jays
years
victories
of
at all, do
shit.
you? Do you celebrate the Blue Jays World Series championships?
No.
I could care less. That's so long ago.
No, you need
Habs
another one
fans
now.
will say about it forever.
You
They
need
won them
another
all
one.
the time way long ago.
Dude.
They're amazing. They're the best. They're the Yankees of hockey.
So to put
Zero
into perspective,
comments.
boys, when Connor,
You can't.
just to
You
put
got- you
context,
got a little leg to stand on.
just to put context to Collins's wet dream, pipe dream, in
Wet
2026,
dream.
2027, when Connor McDavid is done at Edmonton, the cap should be close to 100 mil, if not more than 100 mil.
And I think
Right, 'cause
that's conservative too, because gambling is becoming so huge in the sports, and that's jacking up. And they might
Well,
have
and
another expansion team by then too.
currently they only have, what is it, 15, 6, and 7.5 confirmed into the 2026-2027 cap year. So they've got like literally 75 million to play with based on conservative cap projections.
So they'll be able to sign
literally
McDavid for 3 years at that point in time.
Yeah, they could probably sign him. They could probably give McDavid the max at.
I think
at,
McDavid goes, I'm going to play for
18%.
league minimum, and I want to win a cup for the Leafs. I'm going to play for league minimum.
Imagine the hero he would be
He
in
would never-
Canada. Imagine the hero. They would
Well,
write,
you know what? You sign him at
they'd
league
write
minimum,
scriptures about him. They'd write
and
scriptures.
then Canadian Tire signs him to a $25 million a year endorsement.
100%.
I never understood why they don't have a luxury tax in the NHL. It would
I know,
help
100%.
all the teams, man. Like,
It would help teams
even
like
the Montreal
Arizona that
Canadiens.
play in a Foot Locker.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the heck? Does it make sense, though?
Yeah, so basically have a hard cap that's correlated to league revenues,
Just like
Yeah.
NBA.
and also
Just
have
like
an
everywhere
escrow,
else.
but then turn around to the teams and go, hey, listen, it's a hard cap. You can go 10% more than the hard cap, but you have to pay
a dollar
an
for
extra
dollar
50%.
tax on it that go to
A
the
dollar for
lower
dollar
teams
tax.
that are broke.
Here you go.
Yep.
Right?
I just-
But then you're going to get hard things like your markets like New York and stuff like that, where your big markets are already, and they're just going to get stronger teams, right?
Yeah, but then that generates more revenue, which makes more money, which is essentially what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
I don't care about
you know,
anything other than that.
you hate to say
Really?
it, but the NHL, the NBA are better when your Canadians, your Leafs, your Rangers, your Lakers, your Knicks are good.
Absolutely.
Like, that's what.
Like,
Well,
you could
I
just
think
right
in the
away.
NHL, they
no-brainer.
don't care when Toronto, Montreal are good or anything
Well,
like that. They
look-
care when New
look at the
York and
owner-
Chicago and all that is good. That's what they want.
That would have been
in
a
LA.
problem. That would have been a problem like 10 years ago, right? Having this luxury
Mhm.
tax, but
Mhm.
the because of the salary cap, the NHL is probably one of the most, maybe next to the NFL, one of the most leagues that has the most parity, because like literally it's the hardest cup team sport to win. Like it is the hardest trophy to win.
How
in team
much
sport.
parity is there in the NFL, though? The New England
Lots.
Patriots ran it for like, what, 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
now
but
KC
that has
kind of
nothing-
runs it.
Yeah, but
That
that
was
has nothing to
Belichick,
do
though,
with-
right?
That
Well,
was Brady.
no, and they also
Both of them.
drafted right. You gotta remember, Tom Brady was a sixth round pick.
Yeah,
Can't like that's good drafting. That has nothing to do with team.
that's good player
Fine.
development. That's good player development.
The
Well,
Raptors
yeah,
do
from
that.
a-
Raptors are good at player development and good drafting too. I find the
Yeah, but
Jerry's
the
pretty
NBA,
good at
the
Yeah.
NBA and the MLB don't.
Shush,
They have a
shush
soft.
you.
The NBA,
Shit.
the NBA has a soft cap. MLB doesn't even have a cap. So basically, and then these players get to create super teams, right? So it's just not the same. Whereas I
NBA
find
league is
the NFL does a really
ridiculous.
good
Like
job.
James Harden opts in for a $35 million contract, and then says immediately, I want to be traded. And now he's whining because they're not trading him.
They gave him $100,000 fine, didn't they?
Oh, it's
Something
like
like that.
it's the most ridiculous
That's what he's-
entitled players of any league is the NBA. It makes I can't stand it.
What
Here's
about
a question
I
Mickelson?
like
from
the
business
sport.
side.
What about Mickelson betting on the Ryder Cup there?
What do you
You
mean?
guys
he
hear
played
about
on it?
that? 2012, supposedly he bet on the Ryder Cup when he was playing in it.
Did he win?
Oh, Jesus.
No, I think they lost the US that year.
As a player, you should
Yeah,
be able to
they
bet
lost.
on your actual self to win. You
No,
just can't
you're
bet
not
to lose.
allowed. A la
You
Pete
should be able to bet
Rose,
to
right?
win.
Like,
Yeah.
So here's a question, I guess, from the business standpoint, maybe even more for Bond. When it comes to like hard salary caps for the NHL, isn't there a way around that where you can set up some form of a bonus structure where, like, if you're a rich team, you can have something off to the side that they get?
You can. You
that
can't
doesn't
get caught.
count?
You can't get caught.
yeah. I think they look at the total compensation package, right, for the cap.
in
Because
one
I
big
remember when
package?
Stamkos was
I
getting
think so.
moved to
I'm not
Toronto, they
100%
told him
certain.
they'd get him contracts with
Yeah.
like Canadian Tire and all this stuff. They're telling him that. But I think it's got to be disclosed somewhat. Because I thought just sign Nylander to $5 million a year and get him $10 million in endorsements.
Well, you can
And
get
that's what I'm
endorsements
saying.
on your own, right? You can get endorsements on your own. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think.
But
the
they
team
don't
can
get
play an
endorsements
active-
that big either, right?
Yeah,
Like
play
they're
an
not getting
active
that
role
big.
in it.
But you almost guarantee that endorsement with a company. Like you talk to the company, and I don't know, there must be something.
Well, a la Messi.
Yeah, you
Why
can do.
wouldn't you do something a la Messi when you brought Messi over, right? They get him.
Shares
They
of,
give him
like,
shares in the
TV
front,
revenue.
right? Like, you know what I mean? There's different ways.
Well,
that
the
you can-
corporations aren't giving shares to the NHL players for that.
Well,
Let's
it's a
not
franchise
no,
player. If you're
let's
talking
not fool
McDavid
ourselves.
and he's
If
coming
you
over
look
to
at-
Toronto, I'm saying, hey, take 1 or 2%, Connor.
Well,
you know what I mean? Come on over.
Take looking at the athletes now. They're all buying sports teams. 10 years, 20
Yep.
years from now, all the sports teams are going to be owned by athletes. They
Yep.
get paid so much, right? It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
I feel like
Yep.
it just takes the one person to do it because you look back at that Jordan contract with his shoes.
Yep.
He was the first one to ever get a percentage of the sales. So it just takes that one person to say, "We'll
This is
give
what I
you a
want."
percentage of your merch or something." I don't know. I feel like there's ways around it that aren't being explored for these bigger teams that can't get over the hump.
So you're about exploitation, eh? You're looking for sneaky ways, rookie? Huh?
A little bit, yeah.
Dude, what do we got to do to win, right?
It's 1967. Like, come on.
That's a long time, man. We're going on
Do
how
what
many
you gotta
years now
do.
here? 60 years? Son of a bitch.
Well, honestly, do you think the team's that bad this year? Like the additions they made were great. The only thing I didn't
It's a
like, I didn't
fantastic team, Jeff.
I didn't
It's a
like
fantastic
Klingberg.
team.
I didn't like the Klingberg pickup, but hopefully I'm wrong on that. But we'll see.
It's a fantastic team. It's a
A lot more
fantastic
grit.
team.
A lot more grit.
Can you zoom in on Trevor's face again? Just do the rest of the episode with him on his face. There you go.
Do you remember Lee Trevino in Happy Gilmore there? That's what Trevor was. Just knocking his head in.
He's like, I'll watch hockey again in 3 years.
Yeah, so I just got up the NFL here. The last time a NFL team has won back-to-back Super Bowls was New England Patriots in 2004, 2003. Like, it hasn't happened in 20 years, gents. Now, has New England won a couple in those 20 years? Yes. Same
6.
with
I was going to say a couple. It's probably an understatement, but
Kansas
it was a
City.
dynasty
Right,
for
like-
sure, but consecutively, no.
Yeah, but let's.
Well, it's been 3 teams. It's been Pittsburgh, New England, and what was the other team?
Baltimore? No, Baltimore was before.
No, Baltimore's
right?
won 1. They won 1.
Well, remember when
Giants.
Ray Lewis was? I don't know tons about football, but I remember, was it Ray Lewis when he was playing for them?
He won 1.
Right, like he was a beast out there. They had a pretty good little squad there for a few years.
They could have
I
won with
don't
me
know
at
much about
quarterback.
baseball. Or
With
maybe
who?
Football.
The Baltimore Ravens with that defense, I could have been QB and we could have won the Super Bowl.
Yes,
Pretty
yes.
much.
Yeah. It was a
Rookie,
high scoring. I don't think
you got hit once or sacked once, you break in half. As like any of us get hit by a linebacker or defensive, we're dead. It's not we're getting up, we're sore, we're dead. Those guys are
They gotta get the
animals
paddles
when you watch
on
it.
us. Bring them back! Bring them back!
Like,
Do you
I'm
guys
a
think
major
that you-
Bills fan, so like I'm pumped. Season's about to start.
Do you think you could get 1 yard in the NFL?
No, I think I would die.
If I'm a punter,
They would hit me. I would be so slow off the line. Someone would crush me and break me in half. I'd be
I
in a
could-
wheelchair.
I think I
These
could.
guys are so strong.
I think I could.
QBC.
I think I
QBC.
could.
I'd probably tear a ACL trying to do QB sneak.
If somebody offered, I'd try though. That's the meatball that I am.
It's like taking a punch by Tyson. Would you think you could take one punch for $1 million?
No.
Hell no. You'd be brain dead.
No,
If not a broken neck.
I wouldn't do that. I've fought many a times. I wouldn't take a.
I wouldn't take a punch from William Nylander.
Oh, I'd fight Willie, man. I'd do him. I'd take him down for sure.
I'd tackle him.
That's a challenge for you, Willie. You hear me?
I'd tackle him.
Bring it on, punk. Sign your contract.
I'd take on Suzuki and Cole Caulfield at the same time.
Well, here let's get on.
I'm not
to,
going Lucic. I'm not going at Lucic. That's for sure.
Let's go on to another top story that's happening right now. Okay, and that's Taylor Swift.
Do we have to?
And tickets, but well, we kind of, here's the thing, and this is the story that's going to be told by Rook, because someone on this podcast has a horseshoe up his ass, and that's Rookie, who got 4 Taylor Swift tickets for his wife at $250 per.
$320.
Why don't you sell them the day before and pay off the house?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the whole thing. When I was talking to Brandon about it,
so
because I said,
Rookie, go ahead, tell the story. Tell the story.
We should just talk about this from a pure business perspective.
Sure.
But
Sell.
It basically, you guys obviously know that you did the lottery to get tickets. 31 million people signed up for it, and
1 in
you sent
400
an email.
400%, 1 in 400 chance or something like that.
Yeah. So then we got an email to get the tickets for the first show on the 14th, and we were up at a cottage, and my wife got the code, and she went in, and she was in a queue of 12,000 people. And basically we sat on the thing. She was there for about an hour and a bit, and it went down, and she went into the place to buy the tickets, and it was sold out, completely sold out. Not a ticket, not one of those little blue dots, nowhere. And I was just like, why would you wait in this queue to be sold
100%.
out? So she just decided to start refreshing the page to see what would come up. So refresh, tickets came up, 1,500 a piece, 2,000 a piece. Like literally it says on the bottom, like $8,000 for 4 tickets.
Jesus.
So then she kept cycling through, because I was like, just keep trying. Who knows? Like, you're here, you're just keep going. So she ended up getting these tickets that are kind of on the side stage for about $325. And I'm like, just buy them, because they were second guessing themselves. Like, oh, well, it might be an obstructive view. You might not get to see the whole thing. I'm like, get in the building. Get in the building. Like, my mind is more on the like business side of things and seeing the show. So I'm like, just get in the building, because you never know. So
you want to see the show? You want to see it, or you want to sell the tickets and make money out of it?
So that's where we're at.
Okay, well,
right
hold on
now.
a second, Rookie. Let me give you a little word of advice here right now. You want to stay married, or?
Well, that's it.
Then do what your wife wants, right?
Yeah.
You tell your wife, do you want to go on an all-inclusive vacation, or do you want to see an hour and a half of Taylor Swift? That's what you tell her. That's the proposal.
So we bought the tickets.
Nice.
She was excited. Next day, we go online. I was just curious. I'm like, I wonder what they're selling for. So I go on, check it out, verified resale, $2,500 a piece the day after for those tickets.
Unreal.
And I was
4?
like,
you got 4?
4 of them.
Perfect all-inclusive vacation, 10 G's.
And somebody that we know, whose girlfriend is like a hedge fund manager, just stupid money, found out that we got the tickets, and she's like, I will give you $15,000 for them today.
Done.
Right now.
Done.
What?
And like, it
I would
makes
sell
you
that
think
so
though,
fast,
right?
they wouldn't even think.
So obviously it's as Josh said, it's in my wife's hands at this point. She's a big Taylor Swift fan.
You start putting travel catalogs everywhere.
15 grand? That's a lump sum payment on your home.
You can make another 13 grand. It's going to take a long time to find another unicorn.
So then there's another
It's
theory.
a concert. Watch it on YouTube.
I mean, his wife's going to leave him. Be like, take
go to Jamaica for a week. Go to Sandals.
Hey, would you do that to Jill?
She would not want to. She would take the money so fast it wouldn't be funny.
No, but if it's something that Jill wanted to do.
A Taylor Swift concert versus an all-inclusive vacation? It's not even close.
No, just something that Jill wanted to do versus you making 15 grand.
Oh, we have to do that all the time when I go somewhere.
In my head.
Let Ricky finish the story.
I'm comparing it in my head to kind of something that I love that much, and I actually couldn't find anything that I love that much. Not even the Super Bowl, honestly.
You scolding me,
Like,
Curry?
I would
Is that what
probably
you're doing?
Game
would probably
7,
sell
Leafs
them.
Stanley Cup.
I was
Would you
going
go
to say
that?
Leaf Stanley Cup.
Game 7.
For
No,
you
because I
guys.
don't want to be disappointed.
Shut your mouth, man.
There we go. A
I know
realistic
Taylor
Leafs
Swift's going to
fan.
show up and play the songs, and I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, but
The
you're going
other
to be
thing,
there for
Fords
2
is
hours.
true.
When you leave, you're going to say, "Oh my god, that cost me 15 grand." That
Yeah.
was 15 grand.
What
I
was
don't know
your
if I can enjoy
response to
show.
the Leaf Stanley Cup?
He says he doesn't want to be disappointed. He basically said they're going to lose.
But that's a
I
cop out
wouldn't
answer.
You know what?
That's a
Now that you
cop-out
said
answer
that, I hope you
that-
go to the show.
that
and
I'm
waste
not
that
letting
15
you
grand.
go with. Leaf Stanley Cup final, Game 7
In Toronto?
in Toronto. You got tickets, not platinums but golds. You can
It costs
resell
probably
them.
15 grand.
Yeah, you can resell them for 15 grand.
I'm not doing it.
Me either.
I'm not doing it.
No.
Because it's history.
Yep.
Yeah, but is Taylor
but then-
Swift history, or is everybody just caught
Hold
up
on.
in
Let's,
the
Oh,
let's
yeah.
be clear here, gentlemen. Nobody remembers who came in second place.
I know.
So
'cause
is it
Montreal
really
just did a
history?
little while ago, and he knows.
So the thing
It
with
is
this
his. No,
Taylor Swift
technically,
concert-
no. So both are history because first, there's only 6 shows, and we don't know when she's going to be back through again. The prime minister and the government had to beg for that to happen.
If
Trudeau
she
worked
comes
really
back,
hard to get her here.
And
if she
Cost
comes
him
back in her
marriage.
prime,
Tweeted at
right?
her. burner
Cost him his
50.
marriage.
well, 2, we also have to remember the Leafs have not been in a Stanley Cup final. Forget about winning the Stanley Cup since 1967.
Mhm.
So you going to
But you
the
can no
Leafs
longer
Stanley
say
Cup,
that you've
is
got these
actually a
tickets
historical
for
moment.
2
Yeah,
grand.
once in a
You have to say
generation.
those tickets cost you 15,000.
Potentially
Do you guys
2
rem-
generations. You never know.
Do you remember
Cost
though
ticket.
that second round, first game, second round, the
Yeah.
cheapest seat in the ACC? Because I still call it the ACC was
Yeah, me
about
too.
$2 grand
Yeah.
to get in the building. So like,
And
I
then
don't
by
even
game
know-
4, it was probably $50 because we knew it was over by game 4.
I couldn't even put a figure to what it would be for the Stanley Cup final. Like, I think it'd be way more than that.
I think
Like, to get in the building, like in the 10, like
See,
the 10.
that's the other weird
1,000.
thing about going to that game 7 and all that. It's something that would be nice to experience at home too. It's nice to be at the thing live, but if I've had opportunities on some major playoff events and all that, I almost like to be home, sober, enjoying it, because you don't know if you'll ever be able to experience that again in your lifetime, right? Like it's gonna
Yeah, but
happen
just
for
the
the Leafs and the
story.
Bills, but like, do I want
Just
to
the
be there for
story.
it live?
right? Like I was there.
Mhm.
For you to be able to say that, and I bet you the Leafs would be 15 grand a ticket.
For
Yeah,
game 7
easily.
final to win it?
Yeah.
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 But like,
Montreal
even just to
probably
bring it
15
back-
bucks.
Yeah. Because it would be an
Sorry,
imaginary land.
Yeah. Because they're getting second for sure. Not our Leafs.
But apparently,
You're
this
not going
tour
back there
with
anytime
Taylor
soon.
Swift is apparently the biggest tour of all time from a revenue standpoint.
Yeah, it'll be-
according
it'll
to
be-
media. According to media.
No,
Everybody's getting
actually,
caught up in
and
this.
Billy Joel. And Billy Joel said it's like Beatlemania.
So,
He's like, I was there for both.
guys, here, listen. No, that we've done the research here at our firm. We've actually gone into the economic data. So when Taylor Swift went through the state of Colorado, she did 3 shows in the state of Colorado. And when she was done those 3 shows at the end of the year, her 3 shows, the economic impact represented 30% of the state's GDP.
Jesus. Oh, crap.
An
Why
economist
is C.R.
on
Smith doing economic data on Taylor Swift?
we're finance people, that right? Like that's what we do. So just
That's
for
good.
What's
you know,
the economic data on Toronto Maple Leafs traveling, huh?
not that much. Sorry, but there is like
Bills
you have
fans
to have
travel
something.
well.
But here's the thing. They're saying just out of the Los Angeles Arios tour, I think it's called Arios. If you use the average US price of $250 a ticket, right? The face value, the average $250 ticket price in Los Angeles per show, everyone's spending 5 times the ticket price. So they're spending $250 on a ticket, and they're spending an additional $1,250 into the economy.
What do you think
So
the
have to remember
parking's going to be?
There's 56,000 people
$100
at the Rogers Center. There's 6 shows. So that is 100. That is what 336,000 people that
This
are going to
is
be.
capitalism at its best.
It's 336,000 people, and all. But even if you say they all spend an average of what $1,000 per person, when you think
Sure.
flights, hotel,
Oh, yeah.
meals,
Yep.
merchandise, totally feasible. You're like what is it? What would we figure out?
336,000.
Yeah, you're looking at 336 million as a rough estimate is going into the Toronto economy.
Any coming to
So to put
Niagara?
that into
Insane.
perspective, hey,
Any of it coming here to Niagara? You think? I'm just teasing.
I thought she had.
but to be
but
fair,
Buffalo.
if you're flying into Toronto
Yeah.
and you're from out west or you're from down east or you're from another state, why wouldn't you go to Toronto and then drive through and then fly out of Buffalo or fly into Buffalo?
Yep.
Like there is a lot of spin-off economic impact from these types of events.
100%.
Now,
100%.
And people are
to put
paying
that-
it without blinking.
Yeah.
without
Look at something like
She-
a World Cup or something like that, right? You get a World
She
Cup
turned down
or,
the
like-
Super Bowl, eh? She turned down the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
she's
No,
not
I'm
stupid.
good.
That's why.
I'm good.
Crazy.
Well, she knows the
All these
focus
ups
will be
you
on the
guys.
Buffalo Bills for the Super Bowl this year, and she doesn't want to take that shine off.
So I'll put it up to a poll of if I should sell them or sell them,
Sell.
keep them, or
Sell 10
lose my
times.
marriage.
Are you putting a poll up online?
Sell and go to sandals.
My opinion is
Yeah.
Trip of a lifetime.
779 billion. So we divide
my
that by
my poll is
1, 2, 3.
do what your wife tells you to do.
I have
But
to
just
keep the
put a
pants.
subliminal message out there like sandals is really
So
nice
realistically,
for 15 grand.
You do sell them.
It is so. I didn't want to misspeak, just in case I misrepresented the numbers. So in 2022, Ontario's GDP was $779 billion for the GDP. So this one concert, if people spend conservatively what we think that they're going to spend, it's 4% of the entire province of Ontario's GDP. The GDP in Ontario is going to grow by 4% just because of Taylor Swift.
I say she runs
Insane.
for prime minister.
But, yeah.
CPI, you got to remember, is sitting. CPI is currently at 3.3%. So her one concert is going to
Solve inflation.
outpace CPI.
What's that going to do for the inflation numbers? Is inflation high because of Taylor Swift tickets right now? Is that the real? Did you do a
No.
search on that?
Is there a correlation between bread
That could be
and Taylor Swift?
2% of inflation right now. Tiff Macklin's got to look into that.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, you're talking about people spending their disposable income. So really, that
Which
does
everybody's saying they don't
impact
have any of it, right? So I guess there's no recession if Taylor Swift can get that much money. I think the real problem
That's
here
a
is
big
the
jump,
way,
but yeah, I know what you're saying.
but this is the way they sell tickets now. It's disgusting. It's all bought and then resold and done. Like
yeah,
I don't even want to go to I'm going to a concert tomorrow and I'm paying $250 to see it. A ticket. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta pay $250 for this and all that. I'm like 8 rows from the stage, which is
what do you want to see?
City and Colors playing at Amphitheater tomorrow.
Nice.
So we're going to see. And we had to get 5 tickets together. And in order to get 5 together, we had to pay like the top ticket. Not the top because they're like $500 bucks in the front. But now you got to buy tickets. You're lucky to get one. You got to win a lottery to get tickets. Or then you got to pay like 5 to 7 times the face value to get it right away. Or you got to get lucky the day of to get tickets. It's crazy.
How is it that somebody who pisses and shits is worth that much money? Period.
You got
You're
to
a human
remember, though.
being, man. Like,
Yeah, but you got to remember those ticket prices.
people
It's
are
not
crazy.
the artist that's getting that ticket
I know.
price.
No, I know.
Pre-negotiated that they're getting paid X amount of dollars for the performance. It's the venue that's making the revenue.
But the artist,
No, it's the second person
it's the
seller
artist
making
that
the money. It's the
generates it,
markup.
right?
Yeah, sure. So like when you're buying and selling on resale, but I'm talking the actual tickets
It's
themselves.
like legal scalping now on online, and they go for crazy. Like Ticketmaster does it now. That if that many people are trying to buy the day of, they have a sliding scale, so it goes way up because so many people are in there. Like go back to the days. Like this is what's nice about music right now. My son's writing the records, so he's buying albums because it's on record. They're $50 a record, right? Which will help the actual artist because everybody downloads all stuff with Napster and all that.
Yep.
But go back to the days where you had to get in line overnight in order to get tickets. And if you're in line there and you get a ticket, great, you go. And there's no markup. Scalping's illegal.
Yep.
Get rid of it. It's such a bullshit thing to do to fans. And there's more people that aren't even fans that make the money off it. The fans
You
get
didn't get
gouged.
arrested if you scalped, though. Like what you're
Got him,
referring
got him,
to when
need
you
him,
used
need
to
him,
stand
got
in
him.
line at
Anytime you go
Ticketmaster.
to
Well,
the
because you
Rogers
can
Center,
put it
anybody's
on-
saying that, right?
on a
Got him,
second
got him, need him.
website, and then they can make money off that.
Scalping
That's
all
okay to
fine.
do, like StubHub and crap like that.
No, I'm
It's
not
legal
saying
scalping
that's
that
okay
marks
to-
it up crazy. It's stupid. It ruins the fans' experience.
It definitely has an impact for sure.
It goes to the highest bidder, right?
Exactly.
So you don't always have true fans at shows anymore.
Correct.
So, Jeff, are you a huge City and Color fan?
Huge.
And obviously Dallas Green and
I like Alexis on Fire too, but I'm a big City and Color fan.
yeah, City and Color.
We saw him in New York a little while ago. It was the best show I've seen like my whole life, basically.
Scotiabank Center. You don't have to look any past Scotiabank Center. You ever go to Scotiabank Center? If you're going to see an empty seat, it's going to be in a Platinum,
Yeah.
all the time.
right?
Dallas Green's great. I
Love
met
him.
him at
Dallas is
a
amazing.
Korn and Alice in Chains concert.
Corn.
Really? He was in the crowd?
Yeah, he was in the
Lane Staley,
the,
Alice in Chains, or
way
back in the day?
No,
the
this was
original lead
recent.
singer?
Yeah, this is not the original lead singer. No, he was not there.
He's dynamite.
But dude is so down to earth and just like
Yeah.
happy to meet people and say hi. Like my buddy was the one who initiated. I'm like, I don't bother him. Like these guys get it all the time. Let's just let the man live. He's like, no, I'm going to say hi. And like the conversation was like 5 minutes long, and then he was asking questions about my buddy's life. And I was like,
I'm obsessed with his latest album. I actually bought a record player and his album on vinyl just because I want to hear it in a different way and all that. He's awesome.
yeah, he's a good dude. That'll be fun, Jeff. I'm jealous.
Yeah, we saw him in New York about 2 months ago in a Beacon Theater, 4,200 people.
That's crazy.
And the acoustics were so. Did you get tickets to Tool, Trevor?
Yep.
Did you buy them from Ticketmaster? Or did you buy them second?
Ticketmaster.
When are they playing?
November 20th. I can't even tell you what I paid for tickets.
See, I'm going to see the Bills play in Philadelphia right around then.
Ticketmaster, Tool.
That ticket for Bills in Philadelphia started at
scored Tool
$250
tickets.
American nosebleeds.
You're not going to wear any Bills gear though, right? Like we want you
Oh,
to come
fucking
back
right.
on the
I get
podcast.
hammered and I wear it and all that.
Oh boy.
Every
Oh,
time
really?
the Bills play in
Yeah.
Philly, I go to see my best friend lives
Oh,
there.
no, that was
And then when they come here, he comes here and he wears his Philly gear. And it's Philly's nasty place to
Philly's
go to.
nasty, man. Philly's nasty.
You know what, Collins? That they so when we went, we were in section 322, and what was that? 18, 19, 20, 20. So 4 seats that I bought. Tickets were $4.95.
It's not bad.
I got a pair of tickets for the current that was 2019. I've got section 309, so close,
Where's
still
this?
same level.
Scotiabank or?
Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, 2 tickets came to $219 for the pair.
So that's good.
That's cheap.
That's good.
So
That's cheap.
yeah,
You guys, does it piss you off how expensive concert tickets are? You're like, it is what it is. What the market bears at the moment.
certain
If
things.
If
that
it was
piss
going
me
to
off.
the artist, it would be more fine, right? But if it's getting scalped like that, you feel like you're getting raked over for some asshole making
Like
money.
that Taylor Swift thing just, oh my God, I can't believe it. It just,
For me, it depends on who the artist is. Do I want to see how badly?
I think I'm
Right,
fine with paying
or-
about $100 to $150 a ticket. That's right, my sweet spot. If it's like my favorite bands, I'll apparently pay up to $250 for it. 'Cause I'm going to borrow for it. But that's about like my son likes. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Death Grips. You might have heard of them, Trevor. It's a new age kind of hardcore, rappy kind of R&B. My son's really got a good music taste. It's actually very interesting.
Huh.
And they're playing in Toronto in a small venue. I think 2,500 people,
Like
which
the
I think is
Horseshoe?
the best kind of show to go see. Right? I'm not sure it is, but tickets were like $250 each. And I was going to surprise it for him. I'm like, holy crap! So we bought him a record player and all that, and I listened to some of the songs. Like, oh my God, I can't handle it. I felt like my dad listened to stuff I listened to. I'm like, oh, I can't handle this, right? And I'm trying to be open minded about it and listen to different music and all that. But like for him to go see a concert now, I gotta dish out $500 plus parking plus any food and all that. It's
$1,000 night.
$1,000 night. Like it's insane for a little girl. Go see Taylor Swift. Like some of our close friends we're going to concert tomorrow with, they flew to Texas to go see it. So it was a $5,000 trip for her and her daughter. and now they're here, and she's willing to pay $5,000 on it again. And I'm looking at the husband. I'm like, oh my god, that's a vacation for the family.
So I saw a reel. This woman posted online. The way she's talking, she's Canadian. She told her daughter that she would, get her Taylor Swift tickets, and all of a sudden she's finding out it's $2,500 a ticket. So in this little, social media reel that she's got. So I don't know how to tell my daughter this. So I guess in turn, what I'm going to be doing is I'm renting my husband out. He's available for these types of chores, and this is the dollar amount I'm looking for. Just joking around to pay for the Taylor Swift tickets because she promised that she'd take her daughter.
Poor husband. Why wouldn't she rent herself out?
She was a very attractive lady too. I was thinking that. But no,
there's ways to make quick cash online these days.
If you need to, eh?
There's a couple ways to make it.
Bet365. Bet365. You could put probably $10,000 down that when Toronto plays Florida, that there's going to be fights. You can put that down. I wonder if you can bet that. But Rookie, I'm all for sell it. Go on to the best vacation of your life.
I say sell it too. But I also say listen to your wife first.
Look, you just got to do a suggestive, very calm. Start leaving like sandals kind of brochures around there.
Yeah. Rose petals.
Hey, wow. Presidential suite. 1 week, $15,000 for 2 and a kid. Or go low with another kid. Make another kid. Make another kid in a presidential suite. That's a memory.
Yeah, the vacation presentation. Sandals, resort and bar.
Yeah, presidential suite.
Yeah, you know what? There's also, I know people that they're selling 2 and then going, like taking 2 and going and selling 2 just because they're that outrageous. I asked her what her price point was for her to actually consider it. She's like, I have no idea. Probably $5,000. Has to be. You can get $20,000 for the tickets. Like that's literally a down payment.
Yeah, but even still, though, like you could, you why don't you just turn around and just say to her, like, compromise and go, okay, 2 tickets. You take a girlfriend or your mom or whatever you want to do. We'll sell the other 2, and you'll easily be able to pocket $5,000 to $7,500 just based on what that one friend is telling you, right?
Yeah.
You realize you're not getting invited for the Labor Day barbecue, right, Curry?
Where's the Labor Day barbecue?
At Rookie's place. His wife's putting it on.
Yeah.
She's fucking pissed at you right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she watches this back,
I still.
You know what? Invite us all, Rookie. We'll talk about how good Sandals is. We'll talk about how good Sandals is.
So
Rookie, these guests at the party that just did not
compromise.
Sandals Resort.
She still gets to go to the event because the 4th ticket was supposed to be Rookie. So really, she just has to piss off one other person because Rookie doesn't care.
Or I just go and dress in a Canadian tuxedo and embrace it.
Yeah,
and you can daydream about that presidential suite, getaway.
But Rookie, if you really want to play to sell them, my suggestion or my advice to you is to play on her heartstrings and somehow incorporate the child in, so that you can say that the money is being put towards the child's future education or something along those lines.
$7,500 towards an RESP.
And then it's
Auston.
compound that over another 18 years, right? Say like you're talking
best money ever spent is family vacations.
Brandon did all the math, and that's going to be the equivalent of at least 50,000 by the time.
Maybe we all present together.
There you go.
She can't castrate all of us. Right?
No,
she can't castrate all of us.
No, you know what? All she would have to do is talk to my wife, because my wife would think it's insanity to throw up that kind of money for a show like that. She would punch me in the face if I did it. She would even let me go to a Leafs game or a Bills game that was that big of a moment, and I don't think I could do it.
That's the crazy thing too, because I did think about selling them on like a Ticketmaster or StubHub, and you don't get the money till the event's done. And if you're selling them for that much money, like $20,000, like how do you even know that it's gonna transfer properly? Like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's not just a couple $100. Like that's the other thing too. Like how do you?
And there's fees on top of that too. You don't get the full 20.
Oh, Ticketmaster takes their piece.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they do, because they're the vehicle.
Bastards.
So we'll see. I'll let you guys know if I'm sleeping on one of your couches in the upcoming days.
We could do a whole episode of you on the couch. You on the couch.
Here's the deal.
All overgrown and all this.
It's like half baked. He'd be the guy on the couch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the deal, rookie. Don't worry. I'll throw a sausage on the barbecue for Labor Day, and we'll call it a barbecue party, okay? And we'll have our own little. I'll have a beer and we'll just have a sausage. That'll be your Labor Day.
Just make sure
barbecue.
Taylor Swift's playing the whole barbecue
Yep.
Yeah.
until it annoys the shit out of her. Like it just play it on nonstop, so she's so annoyed by her voice that she's got to sell it, and then you subliminally did your job, and then you go to sandals or go to hedonism.
Yep.
That's a gear change.
There you go.
That's a quick switch.
Yep. That's good stuff.
Really, Jeff?
My uncle loves hedonism.
Jesus Christ.
He's a big
I actually
fan.
do have a
I'm not
question
getting
for
into
you,
a talk on the hedonism.
I couldn't go there.
No. I wouldn't want anybody to see my
I'm
wife.
curious as to
She's all mine.
just to switch gears a little bit. I'm curious as to what you guys think of all this, the Ford Greenbelt stuff, especially Jeff with the development background and everything.
Oh, I can't believe he's not going to jail for what happened there. That's what I think. It's insanity.
But is it that obvious what happened?
Oh,
And
100%
if it
it's
is,
obvious.
that's what I'm saying.
And
But
they've got a scapegoat that they're firing to get off of it.
Listen,
He's
that's
probably
not
getting a couple
scapegoat.
million on the back door to take the fall.
Collins.
We're talking
Collins,
$8 billion here.
Collins, that's not a scapegoat. Ryan Amato is the chief of staff for the Minister of Municipal Affairs. That is like literally next to the finance minister, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, like Steve Clark, like his chief of like that is a big person to fall. Like
Huge.
that's a huge.
Oh, but what I'm
Huge.
saying
Regulates all the
and my
municipalities,
conspiracy
right?
theory is that he accepted it and somehow he's going to be made whole and never work again.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the best way
He'll go
this
work
is
for a
conspiracy
builder.
theory and everything, right? You get one person who's the fall guy and it all goes away. Right? There's
It's
so
not a
much money on
conspiracy.
the. Oh, it's not a
It's
conspiracy.
not a
It's
conspiracy
truth.
theory. It's
Yeah,
it's
happening.
capitalism.
Oh,
It's like
100%.
it's like saying like these people who turned around and said like COVID was a conspiracy theory. No, it was not a conspiracy theory. It actually existed. They're like, well, then what about all the vaccines? I'm like, it's called capitalism. That's what it is. That's what drove it. It has nothing. It's in plain bloody sight. When you got Martha Stewart in 2022 advertising to get your COVID-19 vaccines, like that's capitalism.
How
it's not
did
a
Ford
conspiracy
do?
theory.
How didn't Ford's portfolio jump like something like how many?
Just in the last if you look here's a couple for you, right? I like not Nancy Pelosi, but Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Mhm.
Look at how wealthy they've become since she's been the House of Commons, right? Joe Biden's
Didn't he
wealth
get the
has-
shit beat out of him? Pelosi's husband.
Yeah, from a
She was
burglar. Yeah,
attacked.
Yeah.
that's true.
I think he pays for that stuff. He likes it.
Yeah.
It ain't House of Commons, it's Congress. But
Yeah.
So no, if you look at that,
Canadian,
like if you
American
look at his
equivalent.
portfolio,
Yeah.
it's crazy. You look at Biden's portfolio. That was just in Forbes the other day. Forbes or Bloomberg, I can't remember which. That increased by about a couple hundred, tens of millions, right? It's capitalism, guys. There's no conspiracy
Well,
theory.
and that's the interesting part. We've kind of gone from
Money
COVID
makes the
being the
world go
center of
round.
attention for everything. Now it went to inflation, the center of attention. Now it's a lack of housing being built because the builders have stopped building because the costs are way too high. And Ford
Yeah.
trying to get as much land as possible to build, but who's going to build these houses? Because every builder who's big right now is pulled back.
Yep.
We were
Right.
talking about this on our WhatsApp chat, right? Like all the builders are pulling back right now because costs are insane on materials and even more importantly, the borrowing money. Like they're borrowing between 8 and 12% right now. And every day that goes by, Ford's out there yelling it, and this is how he's trying to pass through this Greenbelt thing. We're so short houses. Like, what is it? Like they have to build 1.3 million in the next 10 years. So 130,000 a year. And the numbers that they've actually built are like minuscule compared to what they need. Like it's insane. So that's how he pushed the Greenbelt through. But the bigger problem they have here, and the interesting thing in Niagara, they have a new guy for the housing affairs coming in just to overlook everything in Niagara because it's one of the big target areas. And the interesting thing that just passed through Welland just got strong mayor powers given to it
Can't
by
be
Ford.
which is a joke.
Well, but you know why they give it to him? Because he's had so many permits going through with Empire Homes. And so they're counting on how many permits are going through and getting added, and they're giving strong powers to that. The bigger problem here is development takes 2 to 3 years just to get it done, and the red tape bullshit that goes on with it costs more and more money for all the buildings. I'm developing something. Me and Trevor have a client that's developing something right now, and the little hangups on bullshit that happens on the one municipality, they have an archaeological buffer zone that we could just do an amendment on the actual like land register, and you can't build in that zone, and they say no. You know, and apparently now it's fixed up. But when you're trying to find out an answer for it, you got 15 different people not talking to you about it. What they need to do is what PP's trying to say right now, who's trying to become the next prime minister, put some bonuses there for the municipalities that help the builders and push it through quicker, because they can do it so much quicker. They don't have enough manpower to put it through or intelligence how to do it, but they got to push this stuff through quicker because there's perfect build situations out there that are delayed for no reason whatsoever. And Ford just pushed it through right now because he knows that it's a hot ticket item. But that's all we're going to hear about for the next 2 years is the lack of housing being built and builders pulling back. And so what do they got to do to get the builders going? They're going to have to compensate them somehow to offset the cost of the interest and the materials right now. Otherwise, they're just going to wait.
Absolutely.
But Jeff, you threw something over the bow there yesterday in our group chat. I think it was Jeff or maybe Curry about them appointing one of the regional director for Niagara.
Yeah, for housing. I just threw that up there.
What, a facilitator, you mean?
Yeah, to facilitate, like, and I don't
to
know
do
if it's
nothing
smoke
but
and
say they're doing
mirrors, right?
something. Yeah, it is.
No,
what
no,
they
no.
should do is talk to the local builders and say, how do you feel about what's going on right now?
Well,
What are you trying to get
hopefully
a
this
permit?
person does, right? Like,
Guys, the facilitator has nothing to do with housing. The facilitator has everything to do with amalgamation. That's
Yeah.
what the facilitator is supposed to do.
What-
So is it
what-
going to be 4 major cities, or is it going to be 1 major city? We don't really know just yet, and that's what's going to happen before September 11th.
And I think the
Oh, I
beauty of that is
misunderstood
to
that.
make it more
Thanks for
efficient.
clarifying.
If they could take Niagara and have it as you apply for a permit at one place, and then they have all the inspectors all around there, and smarter people overlooking the plans, you make the efficiency go up so much. Like when you go to get a permit for a build, it's supposed to be 10 business days to turn it around. We average 3 months on a permit right now. 3 months on a 10-day turnaround on their website.
yeah, that's for that one particular municipality, though, right, Jeff?
No, that's on most municipalities around here right now.
Okay.
Some lenders work the same way, right? Mortgage lenders, some of them say, "Oh, it's this much time for a turnaround." Well, yeah,
But there's no recourse if they said, "Well, it's a Friday, we'll get to it on Monday," and
No,
it's
there's
a
not.
Monday and we're too busy, so probably Tuesday,
Yeah,
and then
we call
they
them
look at and say,
today.
"Well, you missed this one thing," and then they wait another week and say, "We forgot about this thing too."
See you next Tuesday.
It's
Do
ridiculous.
the builders get in trouble, the ones who accepted these contracts for the Greenbelt development, or is it just like that's a business transaction and the only
No.
person that's in trouble is Ford? Really?
100%.
That's correct. Yeah, because that's like saying as long as it wasn't used with dirty money, there was nothing illegal that happened according to the builder's side of things, right? Like a builder just turned around and said, "Oh, this land's for sale. Okay, I'll buy it."
Well, the problem
And-
here is that the builder knew that it's going to be rezoned to go from agricultural to subdivided. It's like right beside me right here, there's 26 acres of land. It was bought for $600,000 in 2020. They put it up for sale for $3 million thinking it could be subdivided. And the city just said, no, we're not changing the zoning. So if someone said to me, hey, Jeff, we're about to change that zoning, go buy it for $600,000. You can put up for $4 million next week
Yeah,
and subdivide it to 1,500
It's like insider
homes.
trading, right?
Oh, it's crazy. The amount of money you can make turning agricultural into residential zoning is insane. Insane.
Prove
That's
that
why
they knew,
golf courses-
though. Prove that
That's
they
why
knew.
golf courses are going from golf courses to housing, right? Because the lots are worth way more as land than a golf course.
Yeah,
So
but
why-
prove that they knew that
why
it was going to
would
get
Ford-
rezoned. How did they know?
So why would Ford even do this if he's the only one that's incurring any risk? The rest of them are just like
Money.
the back pay to him, like coming back to him.
Well, somehow
Well, I
he's
mean,
getting paid
think
on
about
this.
it. Like
He's
think
getting
about
greased.
it. It's one way or another. Somebody is getting greased in some capacity, right?
Mhm.
Because if you just told me to use Jeff's example, hey, Jeff, go buy this lot of land. In about a year, it's going to be rezoned, and you're going to be able to do more for it. and you be able to either flip that for 4 times, or you're going to be able to 4 or 5 times, or you get to keep it yourself and then sell housing on it, right? Well, Jesus, like, I mean, what's 10%?
You just found a gold mine, right? You just found a gold mine,
right? Or just a job, just, you know, like, it's crazy.
No, the amount of it's insane. The return on investment on land from farmland to residential is the highest return on investment you could probably get in the world today. And if you know that's about to be rezoned, like, really, that should be insider trading. That should be.
And who knows what'll happen, right?
Maybe old Bobby Joe, who knows it's getting rezoned, has to do is, tell his buddy from high school that he hasn't talked to in 20 years. Hey, give me $1 million and I'm going to sell. I'll tell you this information. Boom, you'll make it. And then when it does close like that, I want a big fat payday in my house. I want Taylor Swift tickets
happen, though.
for the whole family.
Happen, right?
Ford did all this for Taylor Swift tickets. I heard that's
100%. 100%.
He switched it over. To me, reading the tea leaves from the outside, it looks horrific.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need housing? The problem here is the Greenbelt. They don't need to develop that because there's so much land that's not developed yet that's in there. And they usually don't open it up for more land until that's been developed. And this isn't needed yet because there's a lot of undeveloped land that's in the right zoning right now.
Well, how about this? Like, it happened at the federal level during COVID, right? Rookie, there's a story on Crier right now, right? The prime minister delayed purchasing vaccines for 3 months? Was that the story that I read on crier.co? And in order to, why, we don't know. But then if you look at the people who got the contract for the PCR tests and for the rapid tests, and look who they donated to during the last federal election, like, this happens all the time. I'm not saying it's an excuse, and I'm not saying, but the Auditor General is going to get down to the bottom of it.
Well, and Ford his daughter had like a Stag and Doe, and all these developers were at the Stag and Doe and like donating all kinds of major prizes and stuff like that. It just looks so like it's.
That's what I'm saying.
Completely wrong.
Too obvious.
But the optics look brutal.
Perception is reality, right?
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, like, what's stopping a developer for being invited to the wedding? And the boosta is $10,000.
Well, and this is the problem. What's the premier make? What's the premier salary? You'll know this, Gray. What's Doug Ford get paid a year?
It's got to be a few hundred, eh?
200, 300?
It's around, it's 250,000. Hold on.
I was going to say, I don't think he's broken the 3, because I don't even think I don't know what the prime minister makes there. Like, the salary is
208.
What is he at?
It says 208,974 as of March 24th, 2023.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that's his salary, and then he's got the ability to make people billions of dollars with just certain moves. It's too much power.
But that's why his salary isn't very high, right? Because he's going to make connections and make money elsewhere, right?
Well, exactly.
No.
But you just made people billionaires, made people billions of dollars, and you don't think people think that he's not going to get compensated somehow on that?
100%.
It's ridiculous.
100% he is.
Yep. But anyways, boys, it is the end of the episode. We all have, stuff to do. Rookie, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate.
Enjoy Taylor Swift, buddy. We know you're going. So enjoy it.
I think we also will be worrying about the next recording and going live, because we'll have to get that in the books, guys. We'll put that in the group chat so that we can get Charles Adler on. He wants to come on the show, and
nice.
Good friend of the show, and we'll do that.
Good.
But anyway, Mondo,
Swift.
Can you take us out, please?
Go Habs. Help us help you stay informed. Out.
Ciao.
Cheers.